Hello and welcome to Mystical Musings. It's me, Tracey-Anne, your host, and today we're going to be talking about chakras. More importantly, the root chakra. It's a very good place to start, and if you don't know what a chakra is, stay tuned because I'm going to explain it all, and it's going to be eye-opening. I'm going to give you some really simple tips and tricks to balance that energy center, but also I'm going to give you some tips and tricks of what to look out for should it be imbalance. So as this is a podcast, obviously we don't have the visuals, but I'm going to describe to you the chakra energy center in the body. If you can get onto Google, if it's safe for you to do that, then have a look. And if it's not safe, have a look when you get a chance. But the 7 chakra system is kind of like a rainbow, and it starts at the base of your root. So from the base of your spine, including your lower buttocks, your genitals, your legs, your feet. And its colour is red. And the next one up from that is sort of your lower back. For women, it's the reproductive organs. That's the sacral chakra. Then it goes to yellow, the solar plexus. Then it goes to the heart, which is green, sometimes pink as well. Then it's the throat, which is blue. Then it's, I get indigo and violet, the muddled up. So it's the sort of bluey purple is your third eye. And then the sort of bright purpley pink is your crown chakra. So I've just whizzed through that. If you get a chance and you can have a look, or if you already know what I'm talking about, then that's fine. But if you don't, go and have a look. But today, in this podcast, we're just going to talk about the root chakra and what it means. So it's also known as the Muladhara, and it's the first of the main energy centers in your body. Like I said before, it's located at the base of your spine, and its colour is kind of this deep, rich ruby red. It's a beautiful colour. This chakra is linked to our sense of safety, our sense of security, and how stable we feel. And it governs the basic kind of survival needs, such as food, shelter, and that sense of belonging to a family or a group. You can understand when people perhaps don't have those things from a very young age, why that would knock this chakra out of whack. And when you have one chakra that's knocked out, it affects all the others as well. Now, it doesn't mean that it can't be healed. So if you're sort of listening and you're in a place where actually you've never really felt connection, because perhaps of your upbringing, maybe it was quite traumatic, or maybe you did have that, but you still have this sense of, I don't feel like I belong. I don't feel like I belong. I don't want you to look at this as a situation where whatever's going on for you, it can't be, I'm going to use this word carefully because I don't really see people as broken. It's not a situation where it can't be fixed. And we're not necessarily fixing things. So as we look at the root chakra, what we want to work out, and you can do this for yourself right now, you can kind of think, right, is this chakra underactive or overactive, or is it balanced? So some of the symptoms of having it underactive is feeling disconnected from your physical body, a lack of energy or vitality. Now, obviously, we all get these emotions. We all have the feeling of lack of energy and vitality sometimes. You might have a sense of financial instability. Now, that might be something that's factual. So it might be that your root chakra is underactive, and actually you financially you are overspending, or you're not managing your money properly. But also it can mean that actually you do have enough money. Everything is paid for. You are sort of financially secure, but you don't feel secure. It's like at any moment it could all be taken away. You're kind of blocked in that way. And so balancing the root chakra is really important because it can make you more abundant. It can make you, richer for like in physical financial money as well. You may find, if this one's underactive, you may find it's really difficult to focus on tasks or even complete things. And you might have feelings of insecurity or fear, anxiety, and sometimes maybe even depression. Now, obviously, I think most human beings have experienced these emotions, maybe on a daily basis, maybe regularly. You may feel like that I've just described who you are as a person. And you might think, well, my goodness, there is literally no hope for me. And I'm here to tell you, it's not true. If we look at ourselves as beings, as souls that are in a body, I believe that we reincarnate. I believe that we go through different life lessons as a soul. Our consciousness is what's happening in this lifetime. It's what's happening in this particular body. And so there is a school of thought that we choose the life that we go into, which seems insane, doesn't it? Because you think to yourself, well, why would anybody choose this? But actually, it's taken me a long time to come to terms with this concept. If we are choosing it, it means that that's what our soul needs to learn. And so it's terrible that you may have been through certain things as a child. There's no real getting around that. That is awful. But you are where you are now. And I'm always saying to people, look, what can you do with what you have? How do you meet yourself where you are? Okay. We don't need to hold ourselves to the same standards as everybody else, but I think we should, as much as we can, try and hold ourselves to some standard that is whatever the next step is for us. So now let's look at what makes this an overactive root chakra. What are we looking out for if it's overactive? So this can be excessive focus on material possessions. So you might be all about getting the latest gadget, the latest car. Your house maybe needs to look perfect. It might be that you've got to spend a lot of money on things. So it's a bit overactive. You might have some aggressive behavior. You might be a bit stubborn and resistant to change. You might be obsessed with security. So that feeling of like, in some ways, underactive and overactive, they're not too dissimilar in their symptoms. Or you might feel like you're stuck or resistant to new ideas. I think the word that we use in this particular scenario is overwhelm. We feel overwhelmed. We look at something and it looks so much bigger than it is. And so that can be really, really difficult. So what are we looking for when it's balanced? And I think hopefully everybody will have experienced moments of it feeling balanced, of feeling grounded and secure, having a sense of purpose and direction. Having a healthy relationship with your physical body as well is really important with this chakra. Financial stability without the obsession of it. So it's this kind of thing of you're not afraid to chase the money, but also you're not scared that you're about to lose it and it's all going to run away from you. So that's what we're looking for to keeping it balanced. Now, when you go for like an energy treatment, for example, if you have sound healing or Reiki healing, which is what I do in my practice, you are not necessarily you might leave here with perfectly balanced energy centers, and then you're going to go about your day and about your week and about your month until you next see me, or whoever your energy healer is, and you may find that something happens and it throws you off. Like, I don't know, let's say you're scammed in some way and you lose a load of money. That might knock your root chakra a little bit off course. And so you need to have tools in your arsenal where you are able to bring and keep that chakra in balance, so that your energy treatments are more about just keeping you on the straight and narrow, if you like. They're more about keeping things balanced rather than having to start from scratch every time. So how do you do that? How do you balance the root chakra? Well, one of my favorites is really easy. But a lot of people find it very difficult. So I know I contradict myself. I will contradict myself constantly because that's what life is. It's very contradictory. But one of the first ones is meditation and visualization. I'm going to talk about meditation in more detail on another podcast because it's huge. But just in a snippet, what I say to my clients about this is, because everybody will say to me, oh, I can't meditate because I just start thinking about everything and it's so difficult. Meditation is not the act of not thinking. You stop thinking in your consciousness when you're dead, and you might have moments where you switch off and check out, within a Reiki energy treatment or a meditation, for example, where you completely kind of drift off. But this is not always the case for people. And some people, when they shut their eyes, I get this a little bit, I think they call it aphantasia, where you shut your eyes and you can't see anything. And I kind of go in and out of this, and I think it really depends on how I'm feeling. Sometimes I can see very clearly what I need to visualize, and sometimes I can't. And so have a look at meditation practices that will help you, and you don't need to spend hours and hours. We're not monks. We don't live in the mountains. We're not, we have to do things like the shopping. We have to go to work. There's lots of stuff that actually we have to do as humans that the typical Tibetan monk doesn't have on their plate. So, for example, when you're doing a meditation, you could just type into YouTube Root Chakra or grounding meditation guided, and it could be 10 minutes long. It's more about sitting and noticing that you are thinking, you have thoughts, and it might be sometimes a little bit overwhelming. And I think that's what puts people off. It gets overwhelming. But what I want to say is it's a bit like going to the gym. You don't go straight to the gym when you have no muscle and start bench pressing 50 kilos. You start with maybe 10, and you work your way up very slowly. This isn't about knowing how to do it straight away. It's about learning how to do it. And people seem to think that when something's hard, we have to stop. And we don't. We just have to sit and just hear our thoughts, which can be traumatizing for some people. So, if you are somebody that has PTSD or complex PTSD and you find meditation difficult, it might not be for you. So there is a caveat to that. You can do that. The other thing is affirmations. So you can simply sit by the side of your bed, put your feet on the ground. It doesn't matter if you're upstairs. People have asked me that, does it matter if I'm upstairs because there's space below? It's not that, it doesn't matter. And you can repeat affirmations. So you would say something like, I am grounded, I am stable, I am secure, I am loved, I am connected. And having those little affirmations will just help to remind you. It doesn't matter if it's not necessarily true right now or if you don't feel it. It's just about kind of saying it. Because as you start to say it, then you have to spend time learning how you feel safe and secure and what needs to be done. And remember what I said on previous podcasts, this, depending on your situation and what you've been through in your life, you're going to hear this differently. And so always ask yourself, when you're listening to anything, okay, how can I relate that to me? What can I do with the situation that I'm in? The other thing that's really great is physical exercise. So, for example, going back on what I've just said, if you're somebody with ME or chronic fatigue syndrome, physical exercise is very, very difficult. And so relate that to yourself. For some people, yoga is great. Walking in the trees is great. For some people, it's grounding to be by water. So you might go for a walk near a river or a lake or the sea. Okay. Another thing that you can do to keep yourself grounded is to come up with a bit of a connection to crystals. Some of them are like red jasper. Red jasper's grounding and really stabilizing. Smoky quartz, what that does is absorbs and will transmute any negative energy. And hematite enhances the feelings of security and safety. With crystals, you want to just kind of follow your instinct. And I wouldn't order any off the internet, unless you know of a really good crystal provider. I go to the shop and I pick what I feel like I need. Another one that's really good for grounding is obsidian, but you want to be obsidian needs very clear direction, because it's really, really powerful. There are foods that you can eat that will help you ground. So root vegetables, also eggs, beans, tofu, so like protein rich foods, and red fruits, obviously, like apples, strawberries, cherries, that kind of thing. Another one of my absolute favorites is aromatherapy. Now, please, I'm really against, one of my friends is a aromatherapist, and you do not want to be burning oils. So, all of those, and I'm sorry if you're listening to this and this is your business. I'm not asking you to rethink your business, because if your intention is pure, it's fine. But those candle wax melts, when you heat oil, it changes the molecular structure, and it isn't very good for the environment. I'm sure there are worse things though. But what is really good is getting one of those diffusers. So it looks like mist coming out of the top, and you would put, say, 10 drops of a really good quality essential oil in your space, and that will help to ground you. So essential oils like patchouli, cedarwood, vetiver, frankincense, they can all help to sort of keep you grounded. There are loads more, but So just remember to keep yourself connected. Think about what I've talked about and what you can do in the day-to-day to keep your root chakra grounded. And really, it's not so much about keeping it grounded as it is about noticing when it becomes over or underactive, and then how you come back. So it's a bit more gentle. I think if we all assume that we're going to stay in perfect alignment all of the time, we will probably end up really unhappy. I think we have to expect that life will feel hard sometimes. We're going to go down these weird roads where actually it is difficult. Sometimes things are going to sideline us. And so, it's okay that they go off track. It's just really important to notice when they do. So mindfulness practices, regularly check in with your body and emotions, and practice mindfulness meditation so that you can stay present. Sorry for sniffing. Mindfulness meditation, again, a bit more on that, is, noticing, I'm having a thought that's really anxiety inducing. Maybe it's the root chakra. Maybe I'm not very grounded and I need to just use some of my tools. You might wear, a crystal put it in your pocket or something, carry it around with you. You can set alarms, to remind you to ground yourself, or put some visual cues up, some pretty ones. So maybe you'll have a picture of the symbol of the Mudlahara, so that you can, remember to ground yourself. Establish routines. So create a daily routine that brings a sense of stability, so you know when it's coming, but also you've got to be flexible around that as well. My favourite, that I've saved the last two because they're my favourites, spend time outdoors. So you can walk barefoot on the grass. I don't like doing that so much. Or, my absolute favourite, hug a tree, but ask its permission. Otherwise it might drop a branch on your head. I don't know if that's true. I just heard that somewhere and thought maybe actually we should ask permission. And then obviously regular energy healing sessions from somebody who really knows what they're doing. And, I just encourage you to explore all of these practices. Listen to your body, look at your situation, and remember that balancing the root chakra is an ongoing process that requires self-awareness, commitment to yourself, and to nurturing your sense of security and stability. But also, finally, you cannot do this on your own. So you can use the tarot, you can use all of these things that I've mentioned to keep that energy center balanced, but also don't be shy of connecting with other people, like-minded people, friends, family, if you can, that will help you on your journey, because we do not want to be isolated as human beings. Okay, everyone, thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the next podcast where we will be talking about the sacral chakra.